John here, back again with another review, and today we're going to talk about a review, Broken Arrow from 1950, which stars James Stewart. And the plot here, for some time, the white settlers and Apaches have been engaged in war. James Stewart plays his character, Tom Jeffords, and at the beginning he saves the life of an Apache boy and brings him back, to the tribe. And soon after, our main character seeks to make peace between both sides, and that's the plot here to this movie. Now, the film here is directed by Delmer Daves, who directed the original 3:10 to Yuma. And the film here, from what I gather, is one of the first westerns to paint Native Americans in a sympathetic light. So, the story within the film here, has good intentions. It's more of a quiet film. It's more of a dramatic western. It's not like what you would see later on in Clint Eastwood westerns. Again, this is more quiet, more dramatic. And there's some, good things to note with this movie to mention. James Stewart as our lead character, he was a great actor. And I would say he does a good job here as our lead character, that he wants to seek peace between, both sides. Jeff Chandler as Cochise, from what I understand, he was nominated for an Oscar here. Which nowadays, if you have a white man play a Native American, everybody would be up in arms. Here in 1950, I think he does a, fine job. I mean, I don't know if I would say it's Oscar nominated type of performance here, but he does fine in the film. The love story in the film, the actress Deborah Pageant, I'll talk about that in a minute. The landscapes of the film, the geography, I believe this film was shot in Arizona, so there's a lot of good, landscapes here in the film. You see the Arizona, again, backdrop here throughout the movie. It's not a long film at all. I think it's like an hour and a half. But for me, the biggest thing with this film that really sticks out like a sore thumb, and it's really hard to ignore, is the love story. That to me is one of the biggest things with this movie that I'm not a fan of, because the actress, Deborah Pageant, this is from what I read in the trivia. At the time, James Stewart was 41, and Deborah Pageant was 16. And that to me is not right. Now look, I hate to be one of those people to call out this type of thing here, or because the more older I get, I do appreciate older films, westerns, black and white, which I think this film could have worked in black and white, but that's a little random side note. But for me, again, the biggest thing with this film is the love story. And it just, when you have your actress in the film that is 16 at the time, probably, filming this movie here, James Stewart's 41, and, they don't go so far, being a PG movie, whatever, but still, it's not right, it's inappropriate, and for me, really brings down the film. Again, there's some things that I mentioned here, like James Stewart does a fine job. Jeff Chandler as Cochise, does a fine job. I'm not bothered by the fact that here you have, with Jeff Chandler, playing a Native American. Like, nowadays, everybody would be up in arms and would take to Twitter, about a white man playing a Native American and so forth. For me, it's the biggest thing of, the bigger factor here is the love story and the age gap between your leading man and your actress in the film. And it's hard to overlook, it's hard to ignore. I know some might say, well, it's a film from 1950. There are plenty of movies from back in this era and even the 60s, the 70s that I love. And again, I've grown to appreciate more of these films and more of these classics. But I can't ignore this. I'm just being honest. And there's, again, I mean, if I don't mention that for a second, if I mention other stuff here, I think this film could have benefited from working in black and white. I saw it's in color, but I think it could have worked in black and white. Again, some of the landscapes of the film, the geography, I like. The ending of the film where, they basically kill the girl, and the film ends with James Stewart going after the people that killed her. But again, it's just one of these movies that, one thing that really sticks out for me really outweighs a lot of stuff here. So, yeah, I think while James Stewart does fine and Jeff Chandler does fine, but I'm just repeating stuff at this point. So, yeah, I mean, I did mention a couple of good notes, but the other thing is hard to ignore. So let me just get to my final thoughts on Broken Arrow 1950. Broken Arrow from 1950 is a more subtle western with a moving plot. James Stewart gives a good performance, also providing some nice narration, and Jeff Chandler as Cochise is fine. It carries a good message, however, the biggest issue for me is the love story, which comes off inappropriate now knowing the age gap between James Stewart and Deborah Paget. While there's some good worth mentioning with this film, but the love story / age factor is hard to overlook and brings down the film for me. And out of 5 stars, I'm going to give Broken Arrow 2.5 out of 5 stars. But thank you for watching my review, and have a good day.